What's going on, everyone? Nathan coming back at you. The Monotype Showdown live. I've counted up all the votes, as you can see here, and I was getting ready to do a psychic video, I feel like for the third time here, but there was a surge of votes for Dark, and it looks like it surged to the top. It's also funny seeing all these ones I've already covered, which again, I'm happy to cover again if they get enough votes. Like Ghost is up to 7 already. Meanwhile, something like Dragon, I think, where is it? Yeah, Dragon's only got 12. Hasn't been done once, which is hilarious. So we're gonna hop into it here. I've the Dark video I did last time is I think the biggest Monotype video I've ever done, one of the biggest videos I've ever made in general. It kind of just blew up in the YouTube algorithm, which was cool to see. So I pretty much mirrored my fit from that video last time. My camera's acting up in a convenient way, so it looks like we got a bit of a weird Twilight Edward Cullen sort of filter on me right now. Kind of appropriate if we're being honest. Let's rock with it. And I think the big question everybody's asking when it comes to Dark is, what about the banning of Urshifu, right? If you looked at Dark before, it was such a central part. And I said, like, no matter what team you're making, you're probably throwing on a Tyranitar and you're probably throwing in an Urshifu. Like, that's like the starting point here, right? Like, this is, that's an okay one. This is like a classic HO team right here. It's just such a big part. I said it was essential to how mono fighting worked. So, mono Dark is still a very functional type at competitive play, but so it's not as essential to its success. We with that said, it was the best mon on one of the best teams you could play a mono type. So obviously it lost something. There's lots of great mons who can, we had a list of like 10 on that video of mons I was trying to squeeze in there. And, this way you can just fit in one more excellent mon, like a Zarude or on this team, a Weavile or what have you, right? And it works out just fine, don't worry. But it's sad and it loses a lot of it. So let's talk about how it's changed, how it's adapted with the loss of Urshifu. The first things first, I've got a way I kind of want to approach discussing this, but let's look at the viability rankings. These are available in the Smogon forums. It's for every single type if you want. I don't put too much stock into them per se, but I think it's a valuable thing to contextualize what I'm about to say, which is, so we see all these Pokemon, really important Pokemon, Tyranitar, Hydreigon, Zarude, makes sense, pretty essential Pokemon for how they operate. Mandibuzz is an amazing defensive Pokemon that almost anyone would kill for. Plus, it's going to help you out with the fighting and bug types that are super effective against you. Makes a ton of sense. There's also Moltres Galar here, which is a bit of a contentious topic. I think Moltres Galar is one of the more centralizing Pokemon that's here right now. I think, some people disagree with me for sure and understand that, but for my money, it's like one of the most scary threats in Monotype, period. Certainly Flying, certainly Dark, but just like, if you remove just the type bias, it's if I'm looking at a team preview, it's this one I'm scared and circling the most. Look at that Weavile, which is so good in Monotype because it like helps crush Flying, Dragon, Ground, Grass. The fact that it's an A rank for Dark type shows you how many shooters this tier has. But as Moltres Galar is, and it's interesting. I talk about this with Dracovish. I don't know if my average audience member is familiar with the meta was like in OU when Dracovish was around, or even Monotype to a lesser extent, but it pretty much meant that you had to have a counter on every one of your teams. So in OU, that meant every team had like a Rocky Helmet, Toxapex, or Ferrothorn, or even a Moongus could work like that. Like you just needed some sort of wall for it. That it was just a given with Dracovish. And as a result, if you had that, it wasn't that good, which created this interesting effect where people would be like, dude, Dracovish never wins games against me. It's not that good. It doesn't need to be banned. And you'd always say like, well, that's because you have a dedicated counter for it that's essential for every single team build. Now, Moltres Galar isn't nearly in that same vein of influential and, honestly bad for the metagame, but it is similar where I think most competitive teams need a Moltres Galar answer. Some teams don't have an answer, like Monograss. Monograss just sees Moltres Galar and goes, okay, well, unless they miss a Hurricane, I'm losing. I need Credilli to just do ridiculous shit against this one. Or if I'm playing as Mono Dark against Mono Flying here and they've got a Moltres Galar, I'm like, okay, Tyranitar is not allowed to battle at all unless it's specifically to swap in against Moltres Galar. There's like the case with a lot of these different typings where you need like a dedicated answer for it. And in team preview, if you're not smart about it, you're just going to auto lose. Like I was practicing for this video and I played against someone who was doing Mono Fire and they had a Torkoal and they rapid spinned on my Moltres Galar while I was Nasty Plotting or Agility, one of those two. And I was like, okay, well, that probably just lost you the game. And they got really salty with me, like brain dead mon, which is like true, fair. It isn't the most skillful mon, but also like you didn't have the game plan against Moltres Galar. You got to take it more seriously, dude. This is a beast in the meta game. So in my opinion, maybe I'm just overrating a good mon and not an excellent mon, but for my money, this is like one of the most threatening Pokemon in the tier. But by the same token, it belongs in A tier because most people have a counter for it. Is what I'm trying to get across here. But anyways, the reason I wanted to contextualize this viability rankings is I want to compare them with distribution of mons in top teams. I went through the last 2 major monotype tournaments. So all 32 replays that used mono dark. So 32 times it was used in the last 2 tournaments, which is a solid amount. Definitely not as much as it would have been with Urshifu still in the game, but still very heavily used typing in general. And I wrote down every time it was used here. And this kind of illustrates how the typing looks in a post-Urshifu world. So first of all, you have your standard HO teams, which are going to use a Grimmsnarl. They're definitely going to use a Moltres Galar, maybe more offensive variant of Tyranitar, but not necessarily. Certainly a Weavile, and almost every team is using Zarude too. And the last slot could be a number of different things, but Bisharp's popular because it's such a great breaker, right? And this exact team, actually, I saw used, I think about at minimum 7 times. It was used 7 times in the last MPL, Monotype Player League, but I think like across both tournaments, it's about 15. So that I might be mistaken, but at least half the time, this exact team was used. And whereas the rest of the time, it was more of an amalgamation. There wasn't necessarily a set team that you used. It's something more along these lines where you've got a Mandibuzz, because if you're not, if you're running a more defensive typing, you need a Mandibuzz. You're always running these 2 on the right, essentially. I'll spoil that. Weavile, again, kind of like when I rattled off the types that's good against, which again is off the top of my head, grass, dragon, flying, ground. Like that's a murderer's row plus speed control. Plus it's a good breaker against things like, if you have a Swords Dance, it can really easily break Mono Poison. That's really useful. If you can get the Tox specs low enough. And then, Hydreigon doesn't always find its way onto this variant of a team, on an HO team like this, just because there's only so many roles you can take up here. As a special attacker, Moltres Galar does its job very well. But Hydreigon is so excellent that if you can fit it in, and there is any ambiguity, that's a weird word to pronounce for some reason, then you should fit it on, because it's versatile. It's a scarfer. It's a setup sweeper. Again, you get a nasty plot in this thing. It kind of eviscerates Mono Poison. I've said multiple times, if it is a substitute set, that it auto beats Mono Grass. Unless you're running some sort of crazy team, it essentially auto beats it. The best you can hope for is on a read, you come in on a substitute with your Whimsicott and you encore them. That's great, but they also just flamethrower you and get a 1 hit or 2 a KO on you. So very good mon to include if you can. Speaking as a resident Mono Grass expert. And so, yes, this kind of informs it as a result. So you get the HO variants. And if you saw this, so there's 32 replays. Tyranitar was used in virtually every one. Zarude was used in all but 2. That's, of course, because you want help against Mono Water teams. Very prevalent, very nice, of course. Helps destroy Tox specs if you're a bulk up set, like the majority are. Some can run Scarf. On this team, this HO team I keep referring to, it's usually Scarf. But for the most part, I might have misspoken earlier, but 90% of the time, it is bulk up, not Scarf. It is bulk up, jungle healing, that really cool set that I think I featured before. We love that. Weavile, of course, it's offensive, fragile nature lends itself more so to hyper offense than balance. But it's just so useful at what it does, and it's got boots for the most part too, which means you can swap in on hazards pretty easily too. That's always handy to have. Very useful. But yeah, if you're not running HO, you're running something more along the lines of an amalgamation. You can run in a Drapion very easily for toxic spikes, to help against fairy types, which is extremely handy. You have a Moonblast swap in, that can't be underrated because Tapu Fini kind of just murks this team. You can run Crawdon. It is also interesting, by the way, that the viability rankings pretty closely align with the amount of usage it sees in tournament. Crawdon, the last, is seen literally the least amount. And the only 2 aberrations, which would be Hydreigon on the top 3 and Grimmsnarl a little bit high and Bisharp a little bit high, are again, just for the millionth time, the presence of this HO team, which kind of inflates the numbers of Weavile, deflates Hydreigon's numbers, and Bisharp, of course. So yeah, so again, it's a little bit more free on what you can do with the balance side of teams. HO is pretty strict. You know, you pretty much need a Grimmsnarl, you pretty much need a Mono, Ultra Scalar. You pretty much need these top 3. And then your last slot, it can be like a Hydreigon or a Bisharp. Even they can run Crocodile or Drapion pretty handily. Quadrant, of course, was I think the one usage it saw there too. So that's your HO team. Whereas the balance teams, you're running. It's kind of, I've expressed this a couple of times with different typings. It's kind of like that radar chart. I didn't do it for this one because I didn't have enough time. It's kind of like that radar chart where, you know, if you want a better matchup versus Fairy and Poison, then you would lean towards this one here. And this radar chart would have a sharper point towards the Poison. Whereas Weavile has those sharper points to the matchups I described. And Crocodile would give you a better matchup versus the Electric, would give a little point there. Bisharp would give you more of a point towards defensive stall teams like defensive Water, defensive Steel, certainly defensive Poison. Will give you a bit of help there. That's the general idea I'm getting across. And Grimmsnarl, of course, doesn't have to be HO Light Clay. It can also run some fun bulk up sets. But if you're going to do that, you might as well do Zarude, you know? That's the idea. Oh, yeah. Here's my notes for the thumbnail. I meant to delete that, but sometimes when I'm prepping for a video, I go, oh, it'd be funny if I did this for my thumbnail. So that's a little look behind the curtains there. And you guys probably saw my video last week on me getting ready or competing in a tournament, and I played normal and ghost last time, and in about an hour right away, I got hurrying on this video actually. In about 1 hour, I'm playing round 2 of that tournament. And I was thinking to myself, I want to again start with like just, you know, punching a guy in the mouth, like really start with offense. I like the idea of a lot. Because again, I find that defensive teams, you're playing more reactively. If you're playing more reactively, I prefer to have a better grasp of my opponent's playstyle, like through playing against them a little bit. So anyways, if I'm starting with offense, I didn't want to do Ghost again. That seemed like it maybe might be a bit predictable. So I used Dark here as my next thought. Handily, it was, oops, that's not what I'm looking for. Doesn't matter. Handily, it was also voted in by you all this week. I appreciate it. And also, by the way, make sure to leave a comment below on what type you want to see next. Maybe Psychic finally gets in. Maybe we get in some, I keep thinking it's here because it's a Google Sheets doc. It's not. Anyways, maybe something else gets in. There's always a surprise candidate. And anyways, I'm going to be playing this team. So yeah, I could really use the practice. We're going to hop into it on my Iron Man account on that one so close attempt at completing the Iron Man, which was 13-1. I believe I lost on... No, it wasn't Mono Dark. It was Mono Electric that actually lost me. That would have been fitting if I could redeem myself there. So yeah, hoping for some good games. I watched a little bit of my opponent's replays. Actually, no, I'll save that. I'm going to end this video shortly, and then I'll record another Showdown live for that tournament game. So we can talk about my scouting then. Don't you worry. Nathan's gonna come prepared. We're up against a very funky Mono Flying here to start out. I don't really know what to see. I'm gonna just do a brain dead Grimmsnarl lead. They'll probably predict that and be able to counterpick me neatly. But I just don't really want to mess around too much here. Similarly, I just want to taunt you. I don't want to mess around with you either. Oh, and you're immune. I'm so stupid. I'm so stupid. Well, Spirit Break, which is a nice counter here. Actually, I will Light Screen first, just to lower the damage. I've been better. I'm brutal with taunting against your prankster against dark type mons. I always forget that shit. But I've been a little bit better in my defense. Just a little wee bit better. Luckily, Air Slash is doing nothing unless they flinch us 12 times. That Spirit Break is a pretty neat counter to them too, which works out nicely. That'll bring in, who knows, honestly. We see a Setup Sweeper, I'm going to taunt them. Instead, we see a Togekiss. I'm tempted to Spirit Break again, honestly. But I'll just do a hard swap to Bisharp here. Excuse me, that's the Ancient Power. They're going for it all. They don't get it. We'll Iron Head here. Was the Aurus Field do reveal that? Okay, interesting. Wasn't expecting that. Not in a common move on Togekiss whatsoever. Hopefully Landorus comes in and we can get a boost from Defiant and go for a cheeky little Sucker Punch. Instead we see Scyther. I'm going to knock off because the Sucker Punch damage I'll get if they attack isn't going to be too much. Yeah, and then I can do this and get the kill afterwards. Or straight away. Fantastic. That's got to invite in one Intimidate Mon. Manta would also be nice if you can get a knockoff on them. Lando it is. Are you fast? You're probably Scarf, honestly. No, you go for the Stealth Rocks. You're a cocky son of a gun. I'll do it again. I'll click Sucker Punch 8 times. Don't think I won't. Very nice. They are revealed to be Life Orb. Interesting. Let's Weavel's looking pretty close to a win con at this point, but I will just go to Grimmsnarl and Reflect, and then I can win with... Oh, I was going to say I could win with Moltres, but they're going to kill themselves on Life Orb. That's fine too, actually, because I might live this EQ. Actually, Stone Edge, Earthquake would have killed. Interesting play. That's going to send in... We're still at 2 high ladder. Most of the games I play are kind of top 500-ish range. So I'm not surprised we're seeing a little bit of weird plays. I'll just taunt. The only thing I care about is you Dragon Dancing. If you kill me straight away with an Earthquake, I do not mind. They revealed to be Moxie, though. Let's not overthink it. Let's not overthink it one bit. Tempted to Sword Dance on the swap to Mantine, but my opponent hasn't really made a single swap all game as far as I know, so why overthink it here? I'll risk the burn. I don't think they do too much damage anyways. Crit. It's making me eat my words here. This kill, not quite. Next one certainly will if we don't get burned. Great. GG to them. Let's get the next one. It is sad to see Urshifu gone, though. It is sad. It's a fun mon. It's definitely like Dracovish was kind of dumb in my opinion. I think I was always a Dracovish hater. Even in early metagame, I was like, this thing is like so. It's not fun to use. Not fun to play against. It's certainly not fun in the developed metagame where so much of the game just boiled down to wearing down the Dracovish counters. But Urshifu, maybe this is me speaking with like rose-tinted glasses. I thought it was a little bit more interesting. Maybe just because like Fable was just such a clean answer, and I don't know. I feel like my argument's actually kind of hypocritical. I was gonna say like Clefable I didn't mind having on my teams because it's the same thing about that for Toxapex or Ferrothorn with Dracovish. That's actually hypocritical on my end. I renege my comments. I apologize for it. That doesn't reflect who I am as a person. I'm gonna do Tyranitar, looking for anyone but Golurk, honestly. So that's not awesome. Moltres eats everything, but so does Zarude, and Moltres is a better win con. Stealth Rocks, eh? Let's just Darkest Layer it twice. I don't want to risk a Power Whip miss. There's Sash anyways. That's fine. We eat the Poltergeists. We even eat Dice Punch. We'll click that, and then probably see Mimikyu, who I'm happy to exchange Zarude for in exchange for Disguise. They might not even know I'm Scarf, so if we see, one of these three, I'll definitely risk it. Blacephalon might come out with a Scarf, but in which case, A, I'll get the intel that it is Scarf, and B, I'll be able to hot swap to my Tyranitar afterwards and, maybe even get a Dragon Dance or something funky. So that's fine. I didn't really talk about it much at all, but most Tyranitars are especially defensive and leftovers and Thunderwave and stuff like that, which I think definitely still has a role on this team. Weakness Pulse is a little bit spicy. It combines excellently with screens, of course, because you come in on like a Scald, or even like, it can take most things with screens up. It's got such great base defenses, and you have a Dragon Dance up, so you're just unwallable. And +1 Tyranitar is kind of a demon, It kind of is. Aegislash is the play. You could be Weakness Policy, which scares me, but I got a Bisharp for security as they reveal themselves to be Specs. Banned? Sacred Sword. Leftovers. Surprising my expectations there. I'm going to go Bishop for sure here and knock off because I think they might King Shield. And King Shield will actually give me a boost instead of a decrease thanks to my contrary, defiant, whatever you want to call it, nature. But that's great too. We get that off. Mimikyu is not my favorite swap in here. So I'll go to Grimmsnarl right away and get my Reflect up. I think I live just a raw play rough. It's 50-50 here. I could taunt as well. I'm going to Reflect first. Great. We got that right. You can make the argument that I Ironhead twice for a kill, but that would be a bad argument because it outspeeds me, of course. Come on, Nathan, use your head. Weavel's looking great in this endgame, but I'm just going to triple Axle. A little bit risky because it could miss the first hit, and then I probably lose. But yeah, it breaks it, and now everything past this point is gravy, which is awesome. We kill? Not quite. The Drain Punch, you get almost all of it back, but still, we made them lose their Disguise, which is worth it in my books. Drain Punch makes me not want to go to Tyranitar. Makes me pretty scared to go to Bisharp, honestly. Let's whip out that old Pokemon Showdown beta battle calculator for the Nintendo Wii. Against Mimikyu, Ghost, +2. I don't know why I did the +2. Yeah, we easily kill. So yeah, they could just Swords Dance as like a 50-50 here, but I feel like I click Sucker Punch 12 times. And actually my opponent, if I'm playing against a high-level opponent, I don't like that play. They should have just swapped to a Dragon Pult at that point. Then they can substitute, and then they can really just steal my lunch money. But and go back to Mimikyu at a later point because that play rough is a nightmare against me, especially when Reflect goes down. But alas, I also keep Boots on the Moltres Galar instead of the popular weakness policy, just because I think on a team this offensive, having a proliferation of Boots is so handy on these two in particular, because they can just come in and continue to threaten, and continue to threaten it in the setup, and continue to threaten, you know, the Sword Tense Triple Axe, so even just an immediate knockoff. I just love that. I wall you pretty hard unless you're Flamethrower. If you're Flamethrower, if your choice specs Flamethrower, you have Tyranitar, it's Dragon Dance for the win. If you are anything but Flamethrower, I hard wall you, and this knockoff's a no-brainer. Okay, or be Thunderwave. I feel like that would have made a huge difference, but that's crazy that they revealed that set. On Fort, like, I don't really think it mattered. The only way they were winning is if they Flamethrower it, and then they had Focus Blast for Tyranitar afterwards. Like, I don't know. It was not a good situation for them. Sucker Punch here, your choice locked. Oh, you're sashed. Of course you're sashed. Stupid. Let's Dragon Dance because they died to the sand anyways. Yeah, I was talking myself on the crunch there, but they died to this anyways. They don't have any coverage. I guess it's probably Psyshock and Shadow Ball, so that was the right play. If it's a Scarf, Focus Blast, Gengar, doesn't matter, they forfeit. Excellent, let's keep it going here. Pretty fortuitous matchup. Other thing I like about Dark, actually, I didn't talk about this at all. I think a big reason why it's always gonna be relevant is you have like so few losing matchups. So Psychic, you destroy. Ghost, you destroy. Fairy, definitely. Fairy smokes you, no question. It's a bad matchup. But the other two weaknesses, the things you're weak against, are Bug and Fighting. And I don't be too mean, but I don't think those are like the best. I think they're two of the bottom three typings in Monotype. Fighting, I still think probably smokes you, if we're being honest. There's a chance that you can pull off a win with some pretty nasty Moltres Galar play. Oh boy, we get the other side of that, eh? Let's go to... feeling Bisharp, my most important mon, but I feel it right. Very nice. Don't hypnosis me, please. I could have taunted with Grimmsnarl, actually. But Bug, I don't hate either. It just depends on what they're running on Bug. Bug can run a couple of different things. Your biggest threat is, of course, Buzzwole, a Scarfed Buzzwole. But the big thing about Bug, of course, is you get so much mileage out of using sticky webs. And Bisharp, like, loves sticky webs. Are you kidding me? The kill there, that'll send in Tapu Lele. I believe Specs Moonblast kills, and obviously any Focus Blast kills. Grimmsnarl's a great swap in on a Focus Blast, because then I can get my own screens afterwards. I can't Sucker Punch or anything else, obviously. It's my most important mon. So I'm kind of not in love with my opciones. And the other thing is, it's going to be useful to know whether they are Specs or Scarf, because if they're Specs, I can go to Weavile and knock off afterwards. Probably doesn't kill. Certainly doesn't kill with an Aurora Veil up, actually, but that's the idea, you know? You dig? Let's go T-Tar. I'm going to assume they Moonblast. My guess is Specs Moonblast. They should be Scarf, but my guess is Specs Moonblast. In which case, I want to sack someone, actually, because everyone's 2 KO'd. If I'm going to sack somebody, it's Rude I like. Weavile I kind of not really like. Okay, it's Weavile. Plus I can miss a Focus Blast and I could get a hit off afterwards. So this Focus Blast doesn't really tell me anything. I feel like if there were Specs, they would have Moonblasted, but we're kind of lowish ladder. So I mean, that throws it out of whack. Doesn't matter. No light screen here. No brainer play. Who's the swap in? Clefable, probably. Who's gonna get up rocks? So I'm gonna go for light screen, and then I guess I go hard to Bisharp. Weezing Galar, surprising my expectations there for sure. Are we gonna see a defog? I don't think Bisharp Okos, so I'm gonna go to Moltres Galar. The light screen stays up, it's an amazing matchup. If they defog, at least I get a free nasty plot. I'll probably have to hit a Hurricane though. Only 50% in Sunny Day, good. You go Clef here. Aurora Veil's still up. You click here, Clef. I want to risk Bisharp. I don't think Bisharp's health is too important. Thunderwave, annoying, but not the end of the world. You do Moonblast, does a ton of damage. Seems like their Life Orb. We do nothing in return. God damn, I'm glad this Aurora Veil's only going to go up once. That's insane. At speed, I'll take whatever Sucker Punch damage I can get here. I'm gonna get paralyzed, so that's pretty fortuitous. Wow, that's a scary ass mon. I want a light screen and then probably Spirit Break afterwards. But they should swap out. They should not maintain this matchup. A Thunder Wave, Stealth Rocks. Are they Life Orb? I don't know. Who's to say? So we lower their damage a lot. We actually get the kill and still outspeed. They're going to teleport, I guess. In comes Wheezing. I would love if you defogged, sir. That would be very appreciated. I'll reflect, you know. They do defog. I do appreciate it. Actually, my team doesn't really care about that so much. Let's go back to Moltres Galar here. They sacked Clef, so that's pretty fantastic. Our Speed F's amazing, so we easily take a fairy move here. We outspeed everyone. I don't outspeed Mimikyu, but they take a move anyways. I'm just gonna Hurricane. Nice. We actually hit, which is fabulous. Oh, what are you clicking here, Azumarill? What are you clicking? My son. Hurricane, if I hit it, has a chance to confuse. It has a chance to get a great roll and kill. But I'm not betting on that. Is T-Tar doing very much for me anymore? Ulele, I guess. If it's a Scarf type Ulele. But no, I think this is the sack. I believe it's the sack. Not banded. We probably outspeed. God damn. That worked out amazing. That's, again, Reflected T-Tar. Hell of a combo. Please hit. Very nice. It's got to be Lele. I guess Mimikyu would make sense. But you got to hit a player up, so it's risky. There they are. They Moonblast. That tells me they're Scarf. Great. Great. Go to you. And we Light Screen, which still works even in Psychic Terrain. As long as I don't get full parried, we're fine. Mimikyu's the play. I have 100% taunt here. Oh, that does. I'm stupid. I'm a stupid boy. Gotta reflect. If we get full parried, we lose. Probably still lose anyways. I don't think I got enough, you know, enough guys. If they go for another Swords Dance and I'm able to break with Spirit Break, I'm gonna laugh so hard. Oh, that's so greedy, my friend. So greedy. Please let me get a hit off. Nice. That's huge because we got a Scarf Zarude here. It's a chance to kill. After the Life Orb hit, you never know. They Drain Punch again. I guess it makes sense there. So there's two plays. I'm going to calc it first. Zarude, Mimikyu, Dark Slayer. Yeah, not quite. Oh, Power Up does do it. Fantastic news. We got to click that, obviously. They should be swapping to Wheezing Galar again just because this thing wins, but they're kind of silly with their Mimikyu. Fabuloso. We see Wheezing Galar. No-brainer Moltres swap as far as I'm concerned. It's kind of tricky here because Zarude beats Mimikyu, Lele, and Moltres beats the Wheezing here. But we will Agility. So we're faster. They stay in and attack. That's going to give us a boost. How much does it do? They only have a poison type attack, but it actually doesn't trigger my Berserk. Really, I don't understand how that works then. So unless they're planning the most masterful play in the world, maybe they're trying to get under my Berserk or something. Point is, I think Nasty Plot's the move. Or do I Hurricane twice? I gotta hit 2 Hurricanes if that's the case. No, I got a Nasty Plot. Greedy, please don't. Yes! Okay, we got a hit, but I have a chance to win a disadvantage matchup. Huge! Oh, I lucked them. And this is a perfect case of why I say you play the disadvantage matchups, because A, you gotta play perfectly, and B, you gotta get a little bit of luck. And we definitely did. We get the full confuse and hit. When we win here for sure. Followed by a little bit of RNG, because I got hit by a million Sludge Bombs. Nothing happened. Even one of those would have been the loss. GG, sorry for luck. But yeah, that's what you play. Is, you know, Pokemon is a luck-based game. It acts as a comeback mechanic, which we love to see. And we are able to stay on top, and we're rewarded with a very advantageous matchup. There's a lot of Ghost on sort of the mid ladder I've found, so this is a good typing to do if you're going through that. I do like Weavile here, because I think we'll probably see that Runerigus here as a lead. But sure, maybe Zarude was the play. A little bit scary. You could be close combat. I'm just going to knock off. I'm probably losing this important Weavile, but Aegislash is one of the only mons, especially with no Mimikyu, that can tank more than one of my attacks on his team. So somebody's got to bite the bullet and get this guy lower health. Plus, we'll knock off whatever they have. The only thing that'd be bad is a weakness policy, which probably is... No, it's lefties. They kill me? Sure do. I like the idea of another knockoff here. Yeah, let's do it. Let's run it. It could be faster. Max speed. You never know. Regice does appear. Let's go to Zarude here. As long as they don't go for a Will-O-Wisp, which I think they get. I don't know if Power Whip kills. I don't really care to calc either. I'm just going to go for the 2-hit KO on Darkest Lariat because it's guaranteed to hit. No, not Leaf Guard. Ah! The most important attack. Damn it. Yeah, we'll go for this here. This thing could actually close to 6-0 if not for the young Sableye here. Actually, Zealous probably takes one. Cephalon comes. You better be Scarf, my son, my king. They're not. Next comes in. That's the thing. Zarude often isn't Scarf, so that was a perfectly fine play for them to make there. Doesn't quite kill. Had that right. Skull Burn. Do we see it? No. This is why you need Leaf Guard. This is why you need Leaf Guard. They should have gone to the Sableye way earlier and burned me, but oh well. Looks like a Zarude 6-0. Love to see it. We love to see it. I'll get one more after this. I'm hoping for like a non-advantage or disadvantage matchup, but still pretty pleased with that, you know, that fairy one. Again, it was the perfect display of you don't need to, no, the 6-0 is dead. The bigger goal is to, you have to play an RG a little bit. You got to play to your outs. You got to play to your wins. And we did that. I mean, you know, things got lucky for sure. But the point is, like, this person, I think a lot of people would probably auto quit at turn 1 of this matchup. But there's a reason why you don't, is all I'm saying. And it's also just a kind of a testament to how good Dark is and how useful a HO Dark type team is. Because if things bounce your way, you can beat virtually anyone, including fighting. We're thinking about it. I want to throw in a timer here. I want to get one more game here. I also need to get like a banana in me or something for the game. You gotta sleep, so we need that potassium to get me going. We have fairy again. Oh my god, can I pull? Can I pull a rabbit out of the hat twice? Here is the question. Much worse matchup for us. It's worth noting. Much worse matchup. Steel Resist, Priority Draining Kiss, plus Mimikyu, plus another Steel Resistant Klefki who matches up nicely with our Grimmsnarl. Much worse. I'm gonna try to make it real quick, so hopefully we can burn through the game. Boy, howdy, this is a bad matchup. Even like Bishop doesn't even look that good, honestly. So I'm gonna go for it as a lead here. We do get Primarina, who is just gonna hopefully live 1 Moonblast. I don't expect to. There's no swap in either by that same token. Meanwhile, this person finally sends in their last mon, and they forfeit right afterwards. Fair. Flinch. Ooh, crit. I don't know if that killed otherwise, but we'll never know. Hoping they're bad and stay in. Don't go to the obvious Klefki here. Nope, they're not bad. Let's go to the Snarl. This is, yeah, I mean, I said you can win any team against anybody with this team. Maybe not this one. This one's an intense matchup for sure. Ouch. Youch. 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 There's a lot of ugliness there. I guess I'll get up my stuff. Should have light screen first. That was obvious. There's only 2 physical attackers on the team. Potentially only 1. Good taunt on a calm mind, but I'm planning to just break this thing with dark moves alone. Fair enough. Let's Spirit Break. Why not? Get some Demoglio. Keep it special attack from boosting too much. Don't want to use this guy going forward. I don't know. Yeah, let's go to T-Tar. Let's try the weakness policy. Very nice. We eat Dragon Dance to get +1. Crunch. Crunch might not kill. No, it's gonna kill. What am I saying? 900 attack. Stupid. Oh my god. It's got a reflect up, but goddamn. I would have made a difference, but sheesh. They can't hit me with priority for the kill yet. Still nice. Oh, Comfy might. But no, they're gonna mimic you. This is good because I can break the disguise. This is preferable. It could have made the case for stealth rocks, but I think just breaking disguise is gonna be pretty huge on one of our biggest concerns here. That's a good play too. I like that. It's pretty smart. I guess I got a Weavile. I just calced this, so I'm embarrassed, but Darkest Lariat. Oh, that's right, because of the power up. Stupid. We'll do this again. They set up and they lost their disguise. There's a chance they could fall for some sunken cost fallacy and stay in. Instead of going to the obvious clef key once again, but you never know. You never know. As far as they're concerned, do they outspeed me? No, they're not. They don't know Scarf yet. Root is good in this matchup. Yeah, they do fall for the sunken cost fallacy. They stay in. It's just a world where Moltres Galar wins. It's not a very likely world. I'll probably stay in here. Oh, we need all the breaks to go our way to win here. Okay. We get maybe a favorable roll. Nice. Maybe they're not going to Clef Key still. You hard wall me, man. And now at this point, they know I'm Scarf, or they think I'm a speed tie. We get a Grimmsnarl here. We taunt. This is the biggest concern. Yeah, definitely the biggest concern. Was this the thing that ended our run in Speaking of the Iron Man? I think it might be. It'd be funny if the only 2 losses the accounts takes are 2 with draining because Comfy. They try to taunt me. No, sir. What do you think this is? We might live between the light screen and the special attack drop. We sure do. Fabulous. It's a speed tide that we lose. Hilarious. Is this my best chance for Moltres Galar to set up and do its nasty little business? Zarude gets off a... What do I sword dance with Weavile? Thing is, all 3 of my secondary stabs, like Fluffy hardwalls all of these. Both stabs resisted. Both stabs resisted. Both stabs resisted. If you ever wondered why Steel Fairy is the best typing in Pokemon, granted we have 3 Dark Mons, but it's still pretty funny. I don't need to preserve you because you lose to Comfy. If Light Screen stays up for 5 turns, there's a world where you beat Comfy as long as they don't boost. You're actually maybe my better bet because I can go for a triple axle on you, which would do a ton. What's that look like? Weavile. I had Aurora Veil on this whole time. I always do that. It's so frustrating when I do that. Light Screen versus... Watch me forget that next. Primarina. No. Stupid. Comfy. Calm Mind. Yeah, boy. But, you know, we don't take very much at all. So we go for a Swords Dance. We got a chance to do it all. Okay, well, I think regardless, go for Zarude here. I think I just take the Darkest Lariat. No, I got to power up so they can't swap into their Comfy afterwards. They just take the damage versus Klefki here. Oh, they do go to Comfy. Well, that's fine. Yeah, kill me. Either that or Moltres is the question. Moltres is much more Spadef. Probably does more damage. Interesting bet. The alternative is going to Moltres Galar. A nasty plot. That's an Oko, but I got a hit, and even then it's only a 37% chance. That's actually not very favorable. Whereas with Weavile, I go to +2. I also got a hit. That actually, that's even then it's only an 87% chance. But I got Ice Shard afterwards, which is comforting. I think it's got to be Weavile. Which leaves Moltres to defeat the Klefki afterwards. Should they go to Klefki right now? I think I like my odds for a win regardless. As long as we got 3 turns of Light Screen here, I think we could maybe pull off the Fairy matchup twice here. They Calm Mind. We still tank. We just got to hit like, I think even a 2 at a triple axle, we get it. Yeah. Come on. 1, 2. Okay, we destroy them. What was this Kelk? We just eviscerated them. I guess they didn't have defense investment. What a note to end on, everyone. I'm feeling ready for the tournament game. You know, maybe there's a couple of mid-ladder players, but I'm feeling myself a little bit here. So that's a great note to end on. I hope you all learned a little bit something about Mono Dark, and you know, I hope all this work I spent writing stuff down, it's worthwhile. I hope you enjoyed the thumbnail right here. That's hilarious. And yeah, that's me done otherwise. I'll catch you later. Make sure to vote. Take it easy.